Hi everyone, today we'll be working on a men's sweater, and the lana that we're going to use, the wool that we're going to use is called lana grossa. Lana grossa is like fat or big wool, and this is definitely qualifies as very big wool. It uses between 12 and 15, the needle that you're supposed to use, and a 12 hook, that's like really big. It's 80% wool and 20% acrylic. It's heavy. This yarn, this whole ball is 200 grams, but then it means nothing because the length of the wool is only 120 meters. So 120 meters is not going to give you much room, but I'm hoping because it's so fat that each row is going to take up quite a bit of space, you see. So we'll have hopefully enough. I've only got 4 balls of this, and we're going to be working it with this loom, Now the important thing is that this loom, you'll be working it from here, the parts where you have taken up once you've cast on all the stitches, you will work them in this fashion, going back and forth. Don't continue from here to here. When you cast on here, you go back and forth. Do not close the 2 pegs together, otherwise you create a tube, And the pattern will be similar to the adult sweater and also the 12-year-old child sweater that I did, the turquoise sweater that's on my channel, except there's going to be a difference because this particular loom can only extend a length of 19 inches. So we'll have to work. This pattern is going to have narrow sleeves towards the wrist, and then you will have to do the increase gradually, and with it ending at 9 inches at the armhole. This is to give more ease in the arm, so that because it's a men's sweater. If it was a woman's sweater, probably it will be 8 inches, but since it's a men's sweater, I'm making it 9 inches. So this sweater is going to be worked in this direction. You work the 5.5 inch cast on, which is 12 pegs. You work it in this direction, and then you cast on the rest of the pegs and work for the 19 inches that this will form for 21 inches. You work the rest of the pegs for 21 inches, and then you cast off and go back to the 9 inch, which is 19 pegs, and work the rest of the sleeve back, mirroring this side, that is decreasing and then finally ending it. That will be how we'll work it. This particular pattern, I will have to extend the bottom. The reason I have to extend the bottom is 19 inches is far too short a sweater for my husband, and he's no way he's going to be using that. I managed to take that skein, put it on a chair, and make it into this giant ball. So we'll be using this to start working the skein. Usually that's how you take the skein apart, when you have skein, what you need to do is either get someone to hold it, or you have to get put it on a chair or something like that and work it. So what we're going to do is that I forgot to tell you earlier that we will be having this one is not quite worked like the other one, although the system is the same. We'll be going from the sleeve to the other sleeve, but we're going to have a collar, so an actual neckline. One will have an 8 centimeter drop. I know here all I use inches, but this one I'm using centimeter because I'm actually taking it from a pattern, the neckline. This one is an 8 centimeter drop, and the back will have a 2 centimeter drop over 19 centimeters. When we come to that, we will work on that part, So we're going to do a normal cast on because of the fact that we're going to work the cuffs in later. Okay, we're going to start with working on the sleeve, and the decreases are only going to be on one side, the side that is going to be expanded. So it will be the same on the other side also. You'll have to match the increases will have to match on one side only. You increase them every 2 inches. the 7 stitches will have to be increased. You start off with 12 pegs and you increase it all the way 7 every 2 inches. 1.5 2 inches you make an increase and you end up with 19 pegs. So let's start. And okay, here's my knot, adjustable knot. Okay, we will do the E-wrap because we're going to later on work on the cuff separately, so it doesn't matter what stitch here is. I don't have to do ribbing or pearl cast on, you know. So let's do an E-wrap for 12 pegs. That's 12. Okay, what you do is you go back and that will be your cast on row. The reason why you're doing the increases only on one side is because what you're working on is only half the sleeve, you know. When you work the increase or decrease on a sleeve on both sides, it's because you're doing the whole sleeve. So since we're only doing half a sleeve, we will only do the decreases or increases on one side of the sleeve. This is the cast on. Okay, the cast on is done. Now we'll go back and forth, and when you reach 2 inches, all you do is you just add another. This is how you increase. Just add another peg in, and that's how you increase. And you do that 7 times until you get 19 pegs. And when you reach 17.5, we'll come back. So do this. This is the twisted stocking net stitch. Keep on doing that back and forth and increase every 2 inches. We've come to the point where we have to do the increase. Make sure that you work it opposite to this indicator, so that you will always make sure that your decreases are on the same side. Sorry, the increases are always on the same side, because you will do it away from this point on your loom. This is how you do an increase. You just add a stitch, and then you lock that stitch into place. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 there, and then you continue working back and forth, and when we reach the armhole we will come back. Yes, I've decided to lengthen the sleeve. Instead of 17.5, we'll make it 19. So when we reach 19, we'll come back, and then I will show you how to do the body of the sweater. Okay, we've done, I'm just going to take this part again for you, because I noticed that I took the video and it didn't come out properly, so we're doing this again. Alright, the sleeve is now 19, and so now this is what we have to do. We have to E-wrap all the way to here. This was the peg. sorry, this was the marker. This marker is here because this circular loom, it's almost impossible for you to tell one end from the other because it's a circle after all. So they put this indicator here. I told you when we used the indicator before to do the increases on the opposite side of the indicator, and now we will do the increase for the body on also on that side. So what you do is you E-wrap. You know, I was looking at the wool. It seems that I might have been a tad extravagant. 4 balls was actually too much because I haven't really used much of this one yet, and I'm already coming to the body of the sweater, and it looks like I may only need 2 balls at the very most. So that looks good news for me. I can go back to the shop and to the stall and ask them to exchange this grey for maybe a cream. I saw a nice cream that had a nice little, it was shot in gold. It was rather pretty. Like this, you know, this is shot in lead. You have some lead in the lead colored thread, you know, that runs through it. So it gives it a very nice, it's not shiny, you know, but then it gives this kind of a somber but nice look to it. I showed it to my husband and he hasn't said that he doesn't like it yet and saying things like, oh, I'm not going to use this or anything like that. So hopefully we won't have a little drama later when it's done where he says that I don't like it, you know, because, you know, he's very conservative. Everything that is a bit off, he won't use it, you see. So I have to be careful. I didn't really notice that the thread was like that. Now, okay, you see, you've gone all the way to here. Now here, this gap here, it's vital. You never close this gap because we are working a flat panel. We now will go back all the way to here. So this part, the sleeve will now form the upper part of your body here, and this part that you just expanded will form the lower bit here. And now you work for 21 inches. So you go back. You've done this. Now you go back. God, I really am terrible at this, doing from this angle. I can't really do it from that angle. Okay, now let me just there. Yucks, oh God, I can hear the crunch of my pegs hitting the side of my table and it's breaking my heart. Okay, there. Now you keep on doing this, not in the angle that I'm doing it, but you keep working it back and forth, back and forth. We have to do the shaping for the neck, for the back, at 6 3/4 inches from the side here, where you just increased your pegs all the way to 41. At 6 3/4 inches, you start the neck decrease for 7 1/2 inches. So what you do is, you reduce 2 stitches over 3 rows. Then you work the rest of the remaining 39 pegs for 19 rows. Then you put back the 2 stitches that you cast off earlier, back to 41, and then you work it till you reach 21 inches. And then we'll come back. If you have a problem with the 6 3/4, you can use centimeters. 6 3/4 is 17 centimeters. So when you reach 17 centimeters from the side, you start the decrease. Okay, we've reached the point where we have to do the neck line, the decrease for the neck. As I told you before, it has to be 6 3/4, which is how much it is, or 17 centimeters. There, 17 centimeters. So now what we have to do is, first of all, establish something. This is where the top part of the sleeve is. this is not, this is where the bottom part of your sweater is, means here. This part is what is hanging down here. This one, from the sleeve armhole to the bottom. Now, you can't do the decrease here. If you do the decrease here, it will be wrong. You have to do the decrease on the side of the top part of the sleeve. Here, the top part of the sleeve is where you have to do the decrease. If you can't bring your yarn and finish it on this side, that is, if your 17 centimeters or 6 3/4 inches is not finishing on this side, don't worry. You can just lift this stitch and put it here to get a decrease, even though you're on the opposite, your yarn is on the opposite side of the loom. So now what you need to do is do the first decrease, because you have to take off 2 stitches. So we're going to do that over 3 rows. So you take off the first stitch, just work the decrease, just carry this and put it here, and then work the decrease. If your yarn is from the other side, you just work all the way back here and then only work the decrease. But since my yarn is on this side, I can work the decrease immediately. So that's 1 stitch you have taken off for the neck. Now work it normally, and then on the 3rd row, take away another stitch. Do this for 19 rows, then we'll come back. No, I mean, don't take any more stitches. You just take off 2 stitches and then you work it with the reduction, that is 39 pegs, for over 19 rows. Because the neckline is a very short drop, you know, it's only 2 centimeters at the back. So you only have to remove 2 stitches. Just wanted to show you the decrease. This is the sleeve. Here. This whole thing is the sleeve. And the decrease is just here. You can see the decrease. See the curve? That's your neck, your back neck. And I just wanted to clarify, that when you do the 19 rows after you've done the 2 stitch decrease, the 19 rows comes after the 3 rows that you used to do the 2 stitch decrease. So here, when you're doing the decrease, you would have worked the 2 stitches over 3 rows, you know. So then you do the 19. So it'll be 19 plus 3. Before you do the increases, you would have come up to 22 rows. And then you use another 3 rows to increase the stitches back, the 2 stitches that you had cast off earlier at the beginning of the shaping of the neck. It will be back to 41. Because these stitch decreases were supposed to take place over 19 centimeters, 19 centimeters is 25 rows. Okay? We have reached the point where we have finished working exactly the 19 rows plus the 3 rows to give you this decrease for the neck. Let's have a look at it. You can see the decrease that is coming from here all the way here. Okay, and this is how much I've worked of the body so far. It should be around 7.5, 13, 14, just over 14 and a quarter, like that, of the piece. You know, the important thing, that since you won't be using the same yarn as I am using, that's impossible. So let's just say that the yarn you're using is completely different. If you want to get the gauge, because you're going to have a drop of 2 centimeters and 8 centimeters for the front with a 19 centimeter across, what you need to do is just take a tape measure of the pieces that you have actually worked already. You take the gauge here, like 2 centimeters, you see here, 2 centimeters is 2 stitches. That's how I got 2 stitches, you see, for the drop. And then you count this way for the 19 that you need for the length that you have to do across this part here. So that way you will get your own gauge and not have to rely on what I have said is the stitches, you know, because you can actually get your own gauge that will suit your yarn. Alright, so now let's do the increase. We have reached the point where we'll have to do the increase. Now again, the increase is very easy. All you need to do is, I have finished on this side. This is where we remove the stitches. You just add it on like that. Just add on the stitch like that. Add on one stitch. And then you proceed with the normal row. Then when you come back, you do the second over 3 rows. After that, you would have finished the decrease and increase for the neck, and then you just proceed normally and finish until you reach 21, and we'll come back. Now we have come to the point where we are exactly 21 inches. See, all the way here is 21 inches. Is that obvious? Yeah, 21 inches. 21 inches. From here to here is 21 inches. This is the sleeve. See the sleeve? And we have done the neckline. Let's have a look at the neckline so that you can see the neckline. Is the actual length of the sweater from the top to here is about, should be about 19. It should shrink a bit. Now it says it's 20 and a half, but it won't be that length. It will shrink with a little bit of time. Now we're going to have to try and finish on this side, where the shortest part of the work is, not where your sleeve is, because if you were to reduce it from this direction and go back to the original 19 inches here, then the sleeve will not be here, but you'll be making the sleeve here, down here, which is wrong. So you have to check where your sleeve is. Sleeve is there. Make sure you reduce these and bring it up until they are the same as here. So these will be the pegs that will be left, and then we will start working on the sleeve after that. Now, okay, just wanted to show you the neck part so that you can see. Now you see, this is the neck. It goes all the way and then it becomes normal again here. This is the back. That's why it's not so dramatic, the drop, For the front, there will be quite a dramatic drop for the sleeve. For the neckline. Alright, now I want to show you how to cast off to bring the stitches back to do your sleeve. You work the next peg, then you carry this and put it here. Work it very loosely, please, because you don't want the thing to pucker up and look ugly, the cast off, because that will be the side of your sweater. Then carry it and put it onto this peg here. Okay, do that again. Cast off, knit, sorry, this is casting off. Then you carry this and put it here, because these stitches are rather big. It's easier to do it with your hand, Take it off, carry this and place it here. Okay, keep on doing that until you get a side. Okay, I finished the cast off and brought the, see, this is the cast off along the side. See that? There's no puckering, it looks perfectly straight. That's how you should do a cast off, so that it looks nice. Then this is 19 here left over for you to work the sleeve. 19 pegs are here. This one from here to this side, underarm. That is the sweater, as you can see. I don't know whether you can see this. Let me have a look. Put it. Okay, there's the sleeve and what you've done so far. Okay, now work the other sleeve. Now when you work the other sleeve, make sure that you start decreasing and bring it back to 12 pegs towards the end. The same way that you did here, you have to duplicate it here in this side, working in the opposite direction. That is, when here you increased, here you decrease, and then you would have finished with the back of the sweater. Okay, now we have to do the decreases for the front. We did the back earlier. The back was a very small drop. It was only 2 centimeters. But the front has a more dramatic drop of 8 centimeters, which will be 7 stitches. So you do these decreases over 7 rows. You do the first decrease of 2 stitches on the first row after you reach 6 3/4 inch or 17 centimeters. You do the first row and reduce 2 stitches, and then on the third another 2 stitches, and on the fifth another 2 stitches, and on the seventh only 1 stitch. This will give you a total of 7 stitches, and so you will be at the 7th row upon that point. Then from there, making no more decreases, you just continue on for 11 rows, and then you start increasing it up again, 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 2 stitch, and then 2 stitch until you come back to the original 41 pegs. And that will be the shaping for the front neck. And you complete this front and the other sleeve, and you will be done with the back and front pieces. To work the decrease for 2 stitches, what you need to do is you cast off, you work the second stitch, because we're not just going to just pick this up like this. Earlier, if you're just decreasing 1 stitch, you can just pick this stitch up and put it here. But if you're going to do 2 stitches, it's more advisable for you to do it this way. You do this stitch, then you carry it and put it here. That means you cast off the second stitch from the end, work that, then you bring it here and put this here. Remember to work it on the side of the sleeve where it's straight, not the part where it's connected to the armhole. Always remember that part when you're doing the decreases for the neck. Now do the second stitch again, second stitch from the last one, then you pick this up, then you put it here, cast this off, and you have now cast off 2 stitches. Then when you come back on the third row, do the same thing, and the last one you just do the 1 stitch decrease that you've learned to do before. Okay? After you finish the back and the front, you take this part of the sweater, we're going to extend it, you have to make it longer. We take it and we hook it back onto the loom. After you've hooked everything back onto the loom, all of the bottom, one side only, because if it's not enough for both sides, so you have to work both sides separately. After you've hooked this back on, you work it knit 2 purl 2 for about 5 inches. Okay? Make sure the back part comes out here and the front part is here. This is how it looks once it's completely put in on the pegs. Okay? And then you can work knit 2 purl 2. Show that to you in a moment. Okay, you attach a new ball. This is my last ball. I had bought 4, so this is my last ball. The first one will be a knit. You do knit 2 purl 2. So the first one is a knit. Then knit one more time. Then you purl it. Purling is where you put the thread underneath, not on top. Underneath, and then you pull it up and you take it off and put back the new stitch. Okay, same thing again. Pull up the stitch, put this over, put this there. That is a purl. Then you knit again, same thing. Two knits. And then purl again. Purl again. Keep doing this. 2 knit, 2 purl, knit 2, purl 2. And when you come back, you knit the knit stitches and you purl the purl stitches. You just continue doing that until you get 5 inches. Remember, knit the knit stitches. I started off with 2 knit and then 2 purl. Then when you come back, you come back and you follow the same pattern. So you knit the knit stitches and you purl the purl stitches. This way you will get a row of rib. A knit 2, purl 2 rib. Here is an example of the rib, the knit 2, purl 2 rib. When you pick the stitches to put onto the loom, make sure you pick the outer stitches so that you get this smooth edge here where the ribbing starts. There's nothing, there's no ridge, you know, like you see here. There is the ridge. This ridge is at the back. Can you see this? This shouldn't appear in front. So when you pick the stitches, see, you pick the stitches from, see there are 2 types of stitches here, right? You pick the outer stitch. This is the stitch that you take and attach onto the pegs. Don't take the inner stitch. If you take the inner stitch, this part will form a ridge and it will be very obvious, and it will show up on the right side of the garment, which you don't want. I just wanted to show you the sweater which has the ribbing. This rib part is about 5 inches. It's knit 2, purl 2 rib, and it will be slightly narrower than the width of the front or the back. You do this so that you can get a longer sweater, because the sweater itself is dependent on the length of your loom, and since the maximum amount you can get on that fat round loom is only about 19 or 20, you need to extend it with this knit 2, purl 2 ribbing, so that being a men's sweater you can get a slightly longer sweater. I want to apologize for some of the yellowed pieces of the video, because I went and did something to my camera and I didn't realize that it gave a hue. Anyway, I adjusted that, but so I just wanted to apologize. Now what you need to do after this is that you need to join up the top part here and the top part here, leaving you with the sleeve that will look like this after it's joined up. Then you work a rib, a small rib here on the loom after you've finished joining this, and you take this loom, the one that is one smaller for the neck, and work a rib for the neck with this loom after you've joined here and here. This part here is joined and this part here is joined. Then you hook back the neck onto the loom and work the neck. Once you get the collar done, here you see this is the joint for the collar. I used the mattress stitch to join up the sleeve. You can hardly see the joint. Now the sleeve here you put it back onto the loom and you work a rib for the sleeve. The length, you have to try it on and then you decide how much more you need depending on the person you're making for, how much longer. Probably mine will be a short rib like that. Now here, the neck part, see both sides you do, and then you finish this neck here. The neck is all done. Can you see that? This is the neck, and this neck part, now you take it and put it onto this loom. What you need to do is you need to put the stitches back onto the loom. Make sure you take the front stitches, don't take the back stitch, because then these stitches will form a ridge here and it's very ugly. So take the front stitch and put it onto the loom. And since you'll be working a complete circle, it doesn't matter where you start, just make sure that you put all the stitches onto the loom. Some stitches you have to miss out. Don't take all of it, and try to make it, because this loom is 36. So try to get 36 stitches to be put onto the loom. Keep doing that. You see, this part, the right side should be coming out like this from here, underneath the loom. It should be coming out here like this, you see, underneath the loom. Here, the wrong side should be here. Okay, here I have put the neck all around the loom, all 36 stitches. You have to make sure that you put it all around the loom. 36 stitches all over. You see, this is the last, this is the point where I started. This is the last stitch that I put. Now you work a rib collar. Here you put your adjustable knot and you start your stitches. You have to do them knit 2. That will be the first knit, this one. Then this one, knit 2. Then you have to do a purl. Same as you did at the bottom. To do the bottom part of the sweater, you have to do knit 2, purl 2 all round the collar. Remember to knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches. Knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches. That's how you remember what to do. And work it round and round. Keep on going round and round as you work them. I'm using twisted stocking net for the knit stitches. Some people don't do that. They put a different kind of knit for the knit part, you know. But I'm using twisted So my rib looks a bit different, as you will notice here, you know. See my rib, because this is twisted stocking net, so my rib looks slightly different. Continue doing this round and round and round until you get the collar, the width of the collar that you desire. Okay, the neck, you do about 4 centimeters and then you cast off. Don't make it, when you cast off, don't tighten it. Do just nice. Don't make it too loose either. You know, and this is the neck. Okay.